Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tech Talk Tuesday by the Prevention of Blindness Society. I see some new names that have joined us today, so I'll introduce myself. My name is Tara Aziz, and I coordinate the low vision programs at POB. Before starting our meeting for today, I'd like to talk about two sessions that we will be having this week. The first one is tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Again, it's a virtual meeting, a town hall meeting. Our speaker is Sharon Payne, and she will be talking about orientation and mobility and how to keep ourselves safe when we walk. The second meeting is Thursday at 11 o'clock. This one is an in-person meeting. I invite those who live in Montgomery County and Friendship Heights area to join. It's at the Friendship Heights Village Center. The guest will be Reverend Ray from the Metropolitan Washington EAR. Thank you all. Today's session will be about smart glasses. And for all of us on this call, we have vision impairments, and it's the whole spectrum. Some of us can see a little bit, some of us can see much less. We just want to know how these smart glasses would benefit us, or what do they do for us in our daily lives? And then we will talk about some wearable magnifiers. Our first speaker is Sree Roy, who will be talking about the Meta glasses. And then my colleague, Rachel Schreiman, who will be talking about some of the wearable magnifiers and what they do. I would like to introduce you to Sree, who is currently the lead volunteer in Apple training at the Martin Luther King Library Jr. in DC. He previously served as a board member on the American Council of the Blind of Virginia. Sree is also one of the advanced instructors at iBug Today, which is a nonprofit organization based in Houston, Texas. He also volunteers and provides Apple training for individuals who have low vision or those who are completely blind. He currently resides in Springfield, Virginia, with his wife and daughter. Sree is a resource for many of us who know him. We ask him questions when we're stuck with something Apple related, and Sree is the one to go to. Sree, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you for those kind words. Welcome, everyone. Today is definitely an interesting topic. It is something that I am very excited to talk about. I've had my Ray-Ban Meta frames for about 6 months or so. I also had the Celeste smart glasses probably about a year and a half ago. I still have that. And I'll just tell you a little bit about Ray-Ban Meta frames, and then I can find out from Tara how we want to proceed with this. But in 2023, Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook, and Ray-Ban started a partnership to bring us these smart frames. These smart glasses were actually geared towards people who were sighted. And then all of a sudden, the blind community decided, hey, this is a very reasonable priced device that we could also use. And initially, it had a little bit of a slow start for us because, like I said, this glasses was geared towards for those who were sighted. These glasses come in 3 different styles. They're called Wayfarer is one style, Headliner, and drawing a blank on the third one. Headliner, it'll come back to me, but Headliner, Wayfarer, and one other style. These lenses do come tinted, or you can get them clear, or you can get them the prescription. They also come transition. They do use AI, which is Apple, well, it's basically not Apple. It is artificial intelligence that Meta has created. So it's not using ChatGPT or Apple Intelligence or Google Intelligence. It's using its own intelligence. The advantage of using these smart glasses are that it allows me to ask questions, describe things without having to hold my phone. So these glasses have a camera on the left temple. It is a 12 megapixel wide angle lens, so it captures what's in front of you pretty clearly, and it's a 1080p, so the quality of the video is really good. You can take pictures and have it be described, or you can also take videos. There are some other features that are gotten really popular in the blind community is you can use these glasses with a very popular app, Be My Eyes, where you can call a volunteer instead of having you to hold the phone. You can wear the glasses and connect to a live volunteer agent. Now, you can only use it to communicate with a live agent. It's not available with some of the other features in Be My Eyes. And you can also connect these pair of glasses to Aira if you use Aira, and they use this with WhatsApp. So you can have a WhatsApp communication with an Aira agent, and the agent can see what the glasses frame sees. And you can also use WhatsApp with a family member. So, for example, I could call my wife on WhatsApp or Messenger, or uh, basically, I would use those two to call my wife, and she can see what my camera on my frame sees on her phone. So if I'm walking around, she can kind of guide me through what the glasses sees on her phone. So they become very helpful for me. One of the real benefit that I find, like I mentioned before, is the fact that I can have my hands free. There's so many things that I do where previously I had to hold my camera and then have someone look at it and put the phone down and then do what I need to do, then pick it back up, pick up my phone back up, and then have them look at to see what I did and see if I did it correctly or not correctly. Then, it can be a very tedious process where you're when you're using one of your hands to view something, and these glasses help me alleviate that issue. One of the other things that I like to take these glasses is when I go out, I can have it described to me, signs, things that are in front of me. If I'm in the department store, I can ask, what am I looking at? Who makes this? What color is it? Is there something in front of me? And so that to me has become very helpful instead of me having to hold my phone out and use other apps to use the camera. I use my smart glasses lenses or the camera in my smart glasses to identify objects. There are two new features that the Meta frames are in the process of rolling out. It's still in beta, and it is called Live AI and Live Translation. And I just got my access about a week ago, so I got a chance to play with it. The Live AI allows me to take my glasses around and just simply ask questions. Instead of it taking a picture, it's telling me in real time when I ask questions what is in front of me. I can ask things such as, where's the door? Is the door in front of me? Is it to the right of me? Is the door open? Is the door closed? I can ask all these simple questions without actually having to take a picture. And that's called Live AI. And the second thing that it also offers is live translation. Right now, it supports 3 different languages: Spanish, French, and Italian. And this is where if someone is talking to me in Spanish, it will translate back to me in the glasses in English. So it's a good way for me to understand someone that speaks those 3 different languages that I'm able to understand. Now, when it comes to AI, we do hear things such as hallucination. This is where AI doesn't get the information correct, and it definitely happens. It happens in all AI applications. There is no AI that doesn't hallucinate. They try to eliminate it, but it happens. It definitely happens to me when I use it on my glasses. Sometimes it will say something completely incorrect, and I will question it, and then it'll say, oh, yeah, you're correct. This is incorrect, and it will correct it. So just be aware of those things when you use those glasses. That's pretty much at a very high level of these smart glasses. Tara, is there some things that you want me to talk more about these?
Yeah, like what else do you use them for, and how easy is it to install them? Like you need to install the app first. Is the app easy to use for us? How, I mean, just the process, you don't need to go into details how to install the app, but how did you find it? Was it
Okay.
easy?
I definitely found it very easy because one thing that they did is they made it step-by-step process. So as long as you can follow each step, the pairing process is very simple. There's two ways of pairing it. First, if you just open the glasses up, what I mean is opening the stems out, there is a power button on the left stem inside. It's a little slider. If you slide it on,
And in the chat.
and once it boots up, it will go into pairing mode if you just got the pair of glasses. There is an app that you do need to install. It's called the Meta View, spelled METAVIEW. It's a free app that you can download on your iPhone or on your Android phone. And that app will provide step by step as what you need to do to pair the frames. Once you pair it, all you need to do is just put it on your face. It will automatically connect. You do need a Bluetooth connection on your phone for it to work, as well as you need cell service. You don't necessarily need to have a hotspot, but it does work well when you're in a Wi-Fi environment. But a Wi-Fi is not necessary as long as you have cell service. But you don't need to use a hotspot like some of the other frames that require it. So that's one of the things that I like about it is that I don't have to use a hotspot. And the pairing is, I would say, is relatively simple because it does provide step by step. Now, when it comes to what I use it for, like I mentioned, uh, previously when I go shopping with my wife, especially to the department stores, I would have to kind of hold the clothes with one hand, hold the cane with one hand, and hold the phone in the other hand, and it can be somewhat cumbersome. Um, Now I just kind of, hold my cane and just look at the object that I want to have a description. I just say, HEY meta, what am I looking at? That's the verbal command, is what am I looking at? And it will start describing what the item is. And then I can follow up questions like I can ask, is this a collared shirt? Or um, does it have buttons in the collar? Or is it a zipper? Or is it a polo? Is it a long sleeve? You can ask all kinds of questions. You can ask, is it plaid? Is it solid? And you can ask these follow-up questions without having to say HEY meta. So it makes it a little bit easier to process, what I'm trying to find. I will also tell you that it does read signs. So as I'm walking by, I'll say, what am I looking at? And it'll read the sign for me. Now, one of the downside of these glasses is it doesn't give you any facial description. Uh, this is something that Meta is, I would say, I'm not sure why they're doing it, but they're kind of holding back on it. Now, I will say we encountered the same issue when Bima Eyes first got released with having it describe people's facial expression or what they look like. And hopefully down the road, they will allow that feature to be enabled. Now, the blind community has been reaching out to Meta to make sure that this feature does become available. So we'll have to wait and see. The other issue that I would say with these glasses, the battery life is somewhat limited. When you use it constantly, you might get about 4 hours. If I use live AI, I'm going to get probably about maybe 30 to 40 minutes out of it. It does come with a charging case. You can only charge the frames using the case. You can't just plug a regular wire or cable, USB cable to the glasses. You have to plug a USB-C cable to the case. It is a charging case, and I believe it can charge up to 4 times with the case. Let me think if there's anything else that I would find difficulty with glasses, besides, like I said, the hallucinating is obviously an issue, which I'm going to experience with any other AI device that I'm using. Can't think of right now. I can't think of anything that I find as a showstopper.
How do you use it when you are at a restaurant to read the menu? Can you do that as well? How
Yeah,
accurate is it?
that's a good question. So one of the things that it can't do is it can't read a full document. This is not an OCR like other apps that we use. This is a straight taking a picture. But we can kind of work around it by asking the right question. So when I'm in a restaurant, I can ask it to look and read from top to bottom. Now, this is a hit or miss. Sometimes it's going to read from top to bottom, sometimes it doesn't. But what I can do is I can ask, look and read from top to bottom and tell me what is in the menu for salad. It would tell me what is on the salad menu. Like what kind of salad are there? It will tell me that. But what it can't do really well is read something from beginning to end. So you have to be kind of aware of that when using these glasses compared to other apps that we've used, which uses OCR.
Yeah, I think it's just finding the accurate and the specific word and term to use when you're talking to it.
Yes.
It makes a huge difference how you say it, how you term it.
That is correct. And I will say it's gotten better. The latest software has gotten much, much better. The latency has gotten much, much less than it used to be. So overall, I would say it has improved on the usability. Matter of fact, when I first got these glasses, I was about to return it because I really couldn't find a good use case from it. But then as I started learning more on how to use it, it's really become my go-to. Like I barely take my phone out and use, apps such as, Be My Eyes AI. I only use that if I absolutely necessary need to use it. Otherwise, I'm just using my glasses now.
So you have to have your smartphone always with you. If you're going out, the smartphone has to be there all the time when you're using your glasses, correct?
That is correct, because it does need that app connection. It also needs that Bluetooth connection. So your range is your Bluetooth. So that's what's going to determine how far that phone can be away from you when using these particular glasses.
Okay. I think we have two people on the call who I know use these glasses, Frank and Janice. Can you comment on how you use them, what you use them for?
Sure.
Frank?
Yeah. This is Frank. I use them a lot when I'm walking. I listen to audiobooks. So that's very handy. And and I use them in the grocery store to look at the prices of things and even to know like if there's one kind of oranges that I want to figure out what kind of oranges are these, and how much what's the prices. I haven't tried using them to describe a whole shelf of stuff, like to pick out one particular spice or something. But I also find it very handy when I get my mail. I look at it can read me the return address, which is pretty fine print, but it seems to be able to read it just fine. What I noticed is that if I'm listening to a book that I've gotten from the library and it's on my phone, the Meta app doesn't have to be on. But if I want to get something like have an internet connection, the Meta app has to be on for it to connect to the internet. And sometimes it will do something that's cute. Like today, I said, "What's the temperature outside?" And it told me. And I said, "That's cold." And I was just talking to myself. And Meta said, "It sure is. Be sure to dress warmly." So that was kind of fun, unexpected and neat. And I had some trouble pairing the first time, but the second time I returned that pair and got another pair, and that worked okay. They worked okay for me then.
Frank, you mentioned it reads the mail for you, but Sree, how are the privacy issues?
So we are dealing with Meta, we're dealing with Facebook. So I always say, this is a balance scale of what is it that I'm willing to give up to get. So I would definitely say no personal information. I would ask these glasses or any AI. I would not ask any questions that relate to personal stuff. Something like that, maybe I would reach out to IRA, where they're more secured and bonded for those kind of information. So I typically just ask, just like what Frank said, I typically ask some general questions. Um, the cool thing is that the live AI, I can walk around a room and just randomly just ask questions like, where's the chair? Where's the bed? Where's the door? And it just says, it's in front of you, it's to the left of you. So just kind of neat that, these glasses
Did
kind of
that
become my eyes as I'm moving around.
Okay. We have a question in the chat. How much are they?
Great question. So they start at $299 and they can go up to about mid 400s if you get the transition lens with prescription. So, but the basic pair that I got it for $299. Sometimes they go on sale on Amazon. I know during Black Friday, I think they were selling for about like 180. So they definitely, range from about $299 and above the retail price.
Okay. Janice, you are a user too. Can you tell us about your experience?
Sure, thank you. Similar to Frank, and what Sree has mentioned, I use them to identify things, and what Frank mentioned, using the Bluetooth feature to listen to books or whatever when you're walking, that's an advantage because you don't have something in your ear. The microphone is on the stem of the glasses. You can also make hands-free telephone calls or respond to text messages using your glasses, just, saying, hey, Meta, text so-and-so like you would verbally, with your Google Assistant or Siri. And even though, I just want to be clear so people understand, even though Meta is owned by Facebook, you don't have to have a Facebook account to activate these glasses. It's just, Big Brother owns the company. So, but they are improving as time goes on. Like Sree said, they're becoming more and more user friendly. So, I think they're only going to continue to get better.
Okay. Sree, we have another question. Can others hear the speakers? Like if somebody's talking to you, can others around you hear
That's a great question
what's
too.
being said? Yeah.
Yeah, so the way it works is on the right stem, it's actually a touchpad. So you can swipe towards the temple to increase the volume and swipe towards the back, towards the ear to lower the volume. And if you do increase the volume way, way up, people can hear it. But like what Janice said, if you're just, in a normal sound level, I've heard my wife says she doesn't hear it, or she hears a little bit of noise, but she doesn't really know what is being heard. So it really depends on how much volume you move it up to and how far that person next to you is. But when my wife was next to me, she heard some noise, but she said she couldn't make it out what it's actually said.
And I would agree with that as well.
And I would also say, like what Frank and Janice said, this is a really good Bluetooth headphones also, because like they said, you can listen to a book, make calls, listen to music. And if you do subscribe to certain music services, they made it really easy where you can just touch the right stem and it'll start playing your type of music or your music service. Right now they support Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music. They also now support Shazam. If you're not familiar with that, that's where you can ask what song is being played and it will listen to it and tell you what song it is. And obviously they've partnered up with Be My Eyes, which is a big step for us in the blind and low vision community.
So if you want to try them before buying them, like just Where can you buy them or where can you try them out?
Great question. So you can go to, if you want, I will always say this, you want to try these on because there are different sizes, like the Wayfarer comes in different sizes. I don't know. It's the Skylar and the Headliner. That's the other two styles. You can try them on at such places as Best Buy, Lens Crafters, sometimes, let's see, Sunglasses Hut. That's where I tried mine on. It was at Sunglasses Hut. So they may be limited on the different styles, but you can definitely try it on and see, if this kind of pair of eyewear, smart glasses, fits your requirements because sometimes they may not. And so definitely try them out first. We say try them out first and then shop around, see where you can get a good deal. They do come with a 1-year warranty from the manufacturer. So if it's something that you tried and you don't like it, I'm sure you can return it, but definitely check with your stores because I've heard some places they're being a little stingy on returning it if you used it.
Rachel, do you have any questions or comments for Sree?
No, thank you, Sree. The one question, and I think you've already answered it, I had an opportunity to try very briefly somebody's pair when I was at the NFB convention last July. And I think it probably was user error, but I could not really get them to do what I wanted because I don't think I was asking the right questions. So have you noticed an improvement in the newer software update? And to that end, how specific does someone have to be? So how hard is it to learn to use these? Like when you say, okay, I don't want to set yours off. So if I say HEY meta, then the next part of that question is the terminology have to be very specific to get them to work.
So I would say there is a little bit of learning curve. The experience that you had, Rachel, is the same experience that I had when I first got it. I didn't like it because I wasn't really sure how to use it. The typical word that I use, HEY meta, what am I looking at? Then it takes a picture, and then I can just continuously ask follow-up questions to it. So I don't have to keep saying HEY meta, what am I looking at? So that's part has gotten lot better. It's quicker, more accurate. So there is a little bit of a learning curve of how to say it because, like I said, sometimes if you say HEY meta, what am I looking at? Or read this, it doesn't read it correctly unless I say read from top to bottom. So there is a little bit of a learning curve on using the right lingo, but and I wish there was a tutorial on, hey, here are all the right words to say. It's hard for me to find that because I've been looking for it too, and people are, making comments saying I say this, I say that. So in that sense, this is a work in progress, but I think they're making it more of a natural speaking as these softwares get better and better. And one other thing I will also say, I didn't mention, what I find this glasses very useful for is when I take an Uber ride. One thing we're always looking for is we know that this vehicle is going to be a red Honda. Well, now I just look and then say, what am I looking at? And it tells me it's a red car. So I know I'm looking at least at the right car. And I could go in the back if I wanted, saying, take a look at the license plate. But at least, one of the hardest things is to find out, am I looking at the right car when it comes by? And I find that very useful because before I would have to take a picture and say, okay, what color is this car? Or have the car be described. But now, I just look and ask and I can tell which car is my car.
Sure, we have 2 questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Are the glasses upgradable or will we need to buy new ones with software improvements?
So that's a great question. It depends on the hardware. So the hardware is not upgradable, but the software is upgradable. So Ray-Ban has been updating the software since last year, numerous times. Now there are some rumors that some new glasses are going to come towards the end of the year, but I still believe that they're going to support the current glasses with software. The only time we would ever need to get another pair of frames is if the battery died or the glasses broke, or if there's new hardware that we find beneficial, then that would be where my consideration of getting another pair. But from a software perspective, I suspect this will be supported for some time.
Okay. The other question, I'm a sighted person and would love to see what the glasses look like. Is it possible for Sree to show us if it's
Of
hard?
course, great question. So I
Okay.
got my pair of
Frank had
glasses
his
here.
on. I saw Frank had his on, didn't you, Frank?
I have the Wayfair. This is the medium-sized Wayfair, and I'm going to put it on. Tara, let me know if I'm looking at the camera.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so this is the medium-sized Wayfair, and these come in either a matte black finish frame. I've got the glossy frame, and they come in different pair. Sorry, my glass was talking there, but they come in different lenses. I've got a the standard gray tint lens. I believe it's gray or green. I can't remember, but it's the standard one. Now my wife thinks the glossy looks better because it does hide the cameras on my left temple, and there's a light sensor here which lets people know if I'm taking a video or a picture, a light comes on so others will know that I am doing that. So that's one of the thing that Ray-Ban has done so people know if somebody's taking a picture of you or not. And in the right side of the stem is my volume up and volume down. And then I can also tap. Like let's say, for example, Janet talked about answering a phone call. So if I get an incoming call, I just do a one finger double tap on the right stem. It'll answer the call. I can do a one finger double tap to disconnect the call. And there are some things that you can actually program. Like for me, I subscribe to Apple Music, so I can do a tap and hold on my right stem and it will automatically start playing Apple Music. It'll play my playlist. And you can also, we give verbal commands. We say HEY meta, but if I didn't want to say that, I can do a 3-finger tap and hold and then just say it instead of having to use the wake word.
For those of us with low vision, it just looks like you wearing regular sunglasses.
Yep.
Yeah. So just for everyone who cannot see Sree well.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that I will say that this is much better than like my Celeste smart glasses. This looks like from a distance, you'll never know that I'm wearing a smart glasses. I think people say that if I turn sideways, there are some light sensors that a sighted person can see. But if I'm looking straight from a distance, people just think I'm wearing a regular pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
Which
There's
may
another
be,
question. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, which may be a little bit of an issue if I didn't have my white cane, because they'll think I'm just a regular person walking, But definitely it's a life changer for me, at least, having my hands free and being able to do things.
So there's a question about, do you think these would be useful when cooking? Have you tried them with cooking, Sree?
I'm not invited in the kitchen at my house. I just eat. But I will tell you, I've done it where I've opened my fridge and said, where's the milk? And it tells me where the milk is. And I say, well, take a picture of what's in my fridge and tell me what I can make from this. And it'll give me recipes of what I can make just by the things that it sees in the fridge.
Wow.
But I don't think my wife or my daughter wants me to be cooking because they want the house to be intact when they come home from work.
Okay. Ashley, you have your hands raised.
Yeah, hi. You can hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ashley.
I just had a follow-up question or two. First, yeah, thanks to both of you for presenting, and thanks to Janice for saying you don't need a Facebook account, because that's news to me. I assume that you did. I saw these, I think, like once, but there was a couple years ago, very briefly, maybe at a convention or something. But I don't have them. In fact, I have a lot of simple technology. So this would be a long time for me to actually get, because it sounds like you need to use a smartphone very well to use this. But at any rate, this is interesting. I was wondering, the question is, you said that the glasses like look like normal glasses with lenses. So I guess my first question is, are they like as light as a regular pair of glasses? And for those who can see me, I usually wear prescription glasses because I'm low vision. So that was one of my questions. Is the weight about the same? Like, or does it like feel heavier than a normal glasses would? Secondly, the second question is in regard to what it can read, um, you've mentioned that it can read like mail, and OCR and read it to you. Does it have a way to read several pages? Like, say, if you wanted to scan OCR, like a small pamphlet from, like, maybe I'm thinking for me, like a concert, those program handouts. Could it scan that and read it later in bulk, or does it just read page by page? And did you say the battery life was only 4 hours? And how long does it take to charge? So that's what I was wondering. Thank you.
Okay, I'll try to answer as much of those questions I can remember in my head here, but it is 4 hours. It takes about, I'd say, maybe an hour and a half. It does do some fast charging for short usage, so about an hour and a half, it'll get it back to about 100%, for me at least. Regarding the pamphlet, because it takes a picture, so like I said, this is a wide angle camera, so if you had a pamphlet, it's probably going to take a picture of that whole pamphlet if it's opened up, and it'll just kind of read from one end to the other end in a summary format. It doesn't read from start to finish. That's one of the downside of these, because it doesn't have an OCR, that it summarizes what's in the pamphlet, but you can follow up with questions and ask what's in the pamphlet. So that's the way I do it. Like when I'm having it read something, I have a difficult time for it to read from beginning to end. Some people have said that if you say HEY meta read from top to end or beginning to end, it sometimes reads the whole thing. I've not had a lot of success with it. I've had it work sometimes and not work at other times. So I'm going to say it does more of a summary than actually reading from beginning to end. I'm trying to remember the other questions that you asked.
It's about the battery life as well.
Yeah,
The
like
battery
mentioned
and the
that,
weight
yeah.
of them, yeah.
Yeah, the weight, because I had a
Yeah,
question
the
in the
weight.
chat about the
So
weight as well.
I'm blind, but I wear glasses all the time, and I would say this pair is a little bit heavier than a regular pair of sunglasses, depending on the pair of glasses. But I will tell you, it's not heavy. Like I could wear it all day long and not feel the weight of it. But because there is a battery in the stem and there's some components, it does make the glasses weigh a little bit more than a normal Wayfarer frame would weigh, but not to say that this weighs too much. I would not say that.
Okay, we have a hand raised, Carol.
Hey, Carol.
Hi, this is my first time meeting with you all, and it's very beneficial. Thank you. My question is something you may have touched on, but I wear glasses normally, and so I'm wondering, does it matter where I purchase these smart glasses from? Or do I just buy a frame and take it to my optometrist or ophthalmologist to get the prescription lenses inserted?
Now, my understanding is where you buy the frames, it doesn't matter. Now, I will tell you, I bought mine actually at Best Buy because I'm a Total Tech member at Best Buy. And if you are, these glasses will come with a 2-year warranty. Because my biggest fear is if I break it or the battery dies in the next couple of years. So that's the reason I bought it at Best Buy. Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You may be going, I'll no, finish. You may.
So related to prescription, I don't have mine with prescription, but I'm being told that you can take it to someone who can put prescription lenses on a frame, that you can take these frames to them to have it done.
Okay, I guess my question was, if I get it at Best Buy, can Best Buy take the prescription if I bring it with me
No.
and implement it in the frame? Or do
No.
I need to, they can?
They cannot. You'd have to take it to an eye doctor.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
No, my fault. Thank you.
Yeah.
One last question before we move on to Rachel.
Yeah.
And maybe this one, Janice or Frank might help, which is, can they help with peripheral vision loss? Sree, I know because you're blind, so you wouldn't notice the difference whether it helps with the peripheral vision loss or not. Or do you have an idea?
I'd be the wrong person to ask that question.
Yeah.
Because I'm using it as a person who doesn't have any vision to look at things. So
Yeah.
I would say, this will definitely help if you don't want to strain your eyes to read something. You can have it help you. This is a tool, and we use tools to make our life a little easier. And for me, this tool is definitely makes my life a lot easier.
Okay, I asked the peripheral vision. This is Effie. I can't find on my screen where is the hand to raise. So I'm sorry, I'm intervening here.
That's okay.
I guess that it has to do. I'm assuming it has to do with how wide the lens of the camera is. I do have peripheral loss, a loss of peripheral vision, and when I walk a corridor, I miss the doors left and right unless I move my head from left to right, which then I can miss a step in the front with the cane and all that. So I'm wondering if this camera has a wide lens, then I should be able to see in the corridor at a distance all the doors which are left and right.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that question, Effie. I would say it's not a panoramic view, and I put mine on so everybody could see. I don't know if I'm looking the right way.
Yes, you are.
I don't have the tinted lenses like Sree. I just have the clear lenses. But they can see out quite a distance. Like I've looked out the window, hey Meadow, what am I looking at? And I'm looking out the window and it can, tell me things. So I think it could meet that need, Effie. A couple things I also wanted to add were when we were talking about updates and upgrades, similar to how I get emails from Amazon with new phrases to say to my Amazon Alexa. Now you can say, Alexa, do this, Alexa, do that. I've gotten a few similar emails from Meta. Now Meta will do this. Now Meta, you can do that with your Meta glasses. So you will get updates, saying, new abilities that your glasses have. And when we were talking and, Sree put on his glasses, I said, well, let me go put on mine. And I opened them up and I put them on my face, and automatically the audio from our Zoom came through the glasses. So that was, I didn't even know it was going to do that. It just, I didn't ask it to do that. I just put them on and the audio came through the glasses. So that's another a benefit.
Thank you, Janice. We need to move on to Rachel. Sorry about that.
Sure.
Because, yeah, and thank you very much, Sree, for all this information, because it's like a mystery for many of us how these glasses would help us. So thank you so much again.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
So I do want to let you guys know, we did do at iBug today, we did do a 2-hour presentation on the Ray-Ban Meta frames, which we go through from very basic stuff to actually using it out in real life, including how to set it up, how to pair it, and everything's in there. And I will send the link to Tara so she can pass that information along to you guys.
That would be great. Thank you, Sree. Thanks. Rachel, the mic is yours.
Okay. Before I start, I do want to say I was curious. So I looked really quickly on my iPad to that question about if you can get the prescription put in where you buy the glasses. And there are some certified retailers that are listed on Ray-Ban's website where you can do that if you wanted to. The question then becomes, do you trust them versus your own eye doctor's office? But like, for example, Lens Crafters is listed. So, and there's a few others near my house that came up. So just an FYI. Okay. On to wearable video magnifiers. I am going to keep this very brief and general because we're running very short on time, and also because these are very personal in terms of what you need and what works well for you. So I'm going to keep it general, and then maybe we'll have time for a couple questions. So there are video magnifiers that can be worn on your head, thereby called wearable video magnifiers, similar to those of you who have used a CCTV or an electronic magnifier that, so you're wearing it on your head. And they basically come in two categories, general categories, as I would call them. One category looks like virtual reality headsets. So if you've ever seen a virtual reality headset, they're big, they're bulky, and they box you in. So you have no peripheral vision around. So you're wearing it on your head and you have a screen in front of you. So these are useful. You have to stay seated. You cannot move around. But they work pretty well. So they basically do magnification. They OCR, so like Sree was talking about, they will convert text to speech for you. They allow you to change contrast, so they'll have, you can have invert, so you can magnify and switch the text, for example, to be white on black. They also have color filters, so if there's other color variations that you like, they will do that. So they all do that. Those are some of the pros for the virtual reality style are that they tend to have a better image and better camera than the glasses style that I'm going to discuss in a minute, because they all use a phone as their camera source. So most of them use a Samsung. The two main ones that I'm going to mention use a Samsung phone. There is a new product on the market that uses an iPhone. I tried it. I didn't love it, but there is one out there that does that. So the camera quality is pretty good. The stability of them, in other words, the image staying stable and not shaking on these, none of them are perfect, but they're pretty good. Some of the cons that you have when you have one of the virtual reality goggle style are they're big, they're bulky, they're not attractive if that matters to you. They are heavy, they can be heavy, and they can get hot. So, and like I said before, you have no peripheral vision when you have them on. There, everything is blocked. But that's also a pro because it keeps light from getting in. So what the image that you see might be easier for you because you don't have light coming in. So the main brands of these that are out there, there's one. Oh, the other thing that these do that can be really useful for many is they allow streaming. So the main brands I'm going to tell you about allow you to stream from a smart TV, from a streaming device like an Apple TV or a Amazon Stick, Alexa Stick, those things. You can stream. You can even stream your computer screen. Some of them you can do your phone or your iPad. They all have different capabilities, but they allow you to stream. So it's like being in a movie theater in the front row. You've got it straight in front of you. You can lay down on your bed, on your couch, whatever, and you can zoom in to be able to see the image that's on the TV in a much bigger, crisper, magnified way than just sitting and looking at a TV across the room. Okay, so those are the ones that are like goggles. The brands, there's the Patriot Viewpoint. There's one called the Vision Buddy. There's Iris Vision. And the one that uses an Apple phone just came on the market this past year. It's called Maggie. Then the next group, the next ones I'm going to talk about, they look more like a pair of glasses. Now, they don't look like the Wayfair glasses that Sree and they just had on his head. They're still thicker than a regular pair of glasses, but they look more like a pair of glasses. So the pro of that is you do have some peripheral vision. It's still probably not wise to be walking around with them because especially when things are magnified, depth perception and whatnot is effective. But you do have your peripheral. So if you were just going to relocate grab something on the other side of the room or something, you're fine. If you were with other people, you would still, like at a ball game with your, you would still be able to interact much more easily with the people around you. They're lighter, and like I said, they look more like a pair of glasses. The cameras are integrated into the frame, similar to what Sree showed you. So the quality of the image, they're not as strong a camera typically as the virtual reality goggles are, but they are getting better and better. Image stability can really vary on these, which is where the image, how stable is it? Is it shaking? Because, this camera is on your head. So some of them, and I've had an opportunity to try most of the ones that are on the market. And I have found some do a better job than others in terms of me being able to focus on the image, especially when magnified, because we move our heads. None of us, they're great if you sit super still and you don't move, but how realistic is that? So some do a better job than others of keeping that image stable. The two that I'm going to tell you about both have image stability built in. I've tried one, I haven't tried the other. And I had mixed experience with that stability. Depending, and when I've watched some of the videos online about them, it's really impacted by how much you magnify and if it's applying color filters or enhanced contrast. Some do, it does better in some cases than others. So the two main ones that are available right now on the market, and there are others that, they come and they go, and they're making, companies are coming up with these and changing them all the time. But the two main ones that I've really heard much about are the eSight Go and the Idaptic. There are pros and cons to both. Just kind of a couple main differences are the eSight Go allows you to order them with your prescription integrated into them. The Idaptic does not. So if you have a significant, like say astigmatism, or you need your prescription in order to use the video magnifier, then the eSight Go is a better option for you than the Idaptic. The image stability was really, really good on the eSight Go, as long as you weren't applying a color filter or enhancing the contrast. When I did that with them, I found the image to get a little bit shaky. The Idaptic has a couple features that are unique to it. It's tethered to a phone, so that can be a pro or a con. The eSight Go has an app that it works with, but it's not tethered. So you can operate the eSight without your phone in your hand, and you don't have a cord hanging from it. Rather, the battery is worn around on the eSight Go is worn around your neck. It almost looks like a neck light. If you've ever worn one of those, it is around your neck, which keeps the weight and the heat out of the frame, which is great. So anyway, but the Idaptic is tethered to a Samsung phone. So what that does for you is it does allow you to use the camera in the phone in addition to the camera on the glasses. So you can get a better image if you use the phone. So that's a personal preference. The eSight Go does not do optical character recognition, so it cannot read to you. The Idaptic, the newest version of the Idaptic, they built AI into it. So with that AI, you can do text to speech, and because it has AI, you can do some of the things with it that Sree was talking about with the Meta glasses, or what you would do with the Envision glasses. Because it's got AI, you can ask questions about the image that you are viewing through these glasses. Now, I have not had a chance to try them. I've not been a chance to try the AI. But we will, there are opportunities to try it. The last thing I'll say until I open it up to questions, and I know I kind of rambled a bunch of stuff. We have the Patriot Viewpoint, which is one of the ones that is a virtual reality style in the Alexandria office. So if you want to see what a virtual reality set of these does, you can come in and try it there. We
It
are
is by
working-
appointment.
Yep, make an appointment with, you can't just show up. You can come into the resource center and see what that's like. We are in the process of getting an eSite Go demo unit. So in the not too distant future, for at least a period of time, I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep it, we will have an opportunity to come in and see what the eSite Go is, which is an example of a pair that's like a pair of glasses. There are we can also, if you're really interested in seeing one of these other ones, we may be able to connect you with someone who can show you those. My best advice on these is, if you're interested, to what there are lots of reviews of all of these products on YouTube. Sam from The Blind Life has reviewed most of them. Vision Forward, who was recently with us doing a Windows training, they have reviewed a lot of these. None of them are perfect. And the cost, they're all somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000. So they are not inexpensive. I watched Vision Forward said it perfectly. They said,
Rachel, sorry to interrupt. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, all the wearables have not yet reached their ultimate form, but they are getting there. So there you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rachel. We have 3 more minutes. I think Melissa had her hand raised. Melissa, do you still have your question?
I was just going to point out that my husband, the super sleuth, has found the link on Meta that describes the communication lingo that you can use with Meta for its Google Ray-Bans or Meta Ray-Bans. So there's a link there. And somebody had asked about a link for the iBug videos, and I threw one in there for that as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. One last question before we end. Any other questions that anyone have?
Pretty expensive. Tara, this is Sandy.
Yes. Yes, Sandy, go ahead.
So the biggest contrast between what Sree was talking about, which the Meta glasses talk to you, you're not using your eyes to see anything. But Rachel's talking about you're using your vision still, and these glasses are enhancing your vision. So Rachel, I don't know if you can answer this, but for somebody who wears glasses, most of us, our glasses are set to help us focus, 6, 12 inches away or infinity. And you're looking at the inside of these goggles, and the inside of the goggles is sort of an inch in front of your eyes. How does that work? Do you have to be able to focus very, very close?
No. Okay, that's a really good question. So these all allow you to both magnify things in the distance and near. So it's kind of like having, when you use telescopes, some are for far, some are for near. These can do both. So it's almost like if you've ever used one of the video magnifiers that has 2 different lenses and you flip it. So one of them's for documents that are right underneath the camera lens, and the other is for a distance lens. They integrate both. So you can do both. But the good news is the image is right in front of your eyes. So that allows you, to zoom in and out a little easier if I want to say if it works for you. There's, when you watch some of the videos, depending on your specific vision, these may or may not work well for you. If you have big blind spots, for example, in certain places within your visual field, it may block the image based on where the lenses are and the camera is. So it's super important to try before you buy, especially given the price point.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Harry, last question before we end the call.
I just want to know if there's a wearable reading magnifier that goes beyond traditional reading glasses that doesn't require a prescription.
Well,
Yeah,
you want to take that, Tara, or you want me to
no,
try?
that's fine. I think she explained to it what these video magnifiers do. So it doesn't require a prescription to use any of these video magnifiers, but you need to try them out because it doesn't work for many people. So with these, you need to try them out.
Yeah, the
Okay.
only thing I would add, Tara, is difference between video and regular magnification, which is a bigger discussion than we can get into right now. But I would recommend that if that's your question, that you make an appointment to come into one of the resource centers so that you can kind of learn the difference and see what works for you. What I'm discussing is video magnification that you can wear on your face.
Okay, everyone, we really appreciate you all joining us today. Thank you very much, Sree and Rachel, for this informative session. And thank you all for your questions and your comments. This session is being recorded and we will send it out in the next couple of days, or you can check our YouTube channel tomorrow and you can watch it again. Thank you again, everyone, and have a very nice day.